get to what we all came here for, the tangerine scene. If you didn't know any better, you would almost at the end of this believe she was telling the truth and Cole was just that bad of a monster. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, and if you're new here, I like to do daily vlogs, travel vlogs, product reviews, and videos like this that kind of fall into a other category, which would be a TV series review. So today we're reviewing the last batch of episodes from Love is Blind Season 3, the weddings essentially, and the reunion. So without further ado, let's get into this video. But before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment on, let's see, what should we drop a comment on? Like, I guess the biggest like slap in the face this season? I mean, I don't know. You tell me, but we'll talk about it. So let's get to it. So the way I'm going to set this up is we're going to review the weddings by the way they happen, and then we're going to go into the review, and I'll tell y'all how I'm going to set that up once we get to that part. So first up, SK and Raven. Now, if you watched my last video, you know I was team SK, team Raven all day. Well, obviously, we know that did not work. But I don't know. I feel played. I mean, I can only imagine how Raven feels, but I feel played by SK. Like, when he said, "I don't," with the smile on his face, I was like you just was waiting to say that. I don't know if it was TV dramatics. I don't know if it was really just how he felt about the situation, but to say it with a smile, like, after Raven's vows, I think he also gave vows. Did he? I really can't remember, but I know Raven gave some really beautiful vows that I was like, wow, that's amazing. And for him to be like, "I don't," I feel very blindsided. And I know a lot, like, let me address this too. I know a lot of people did not like Raven because she, you know, like one of the comments, she's an independent woman or she wants to be a sugar baby, like pick one. I think she just had high standards. If we're being quite honest, I don't see anything wrong with what she wanted out of him as a husband. As a husband, people don't agree, but that's just me personally. I don't think she was asking for anything that was too outrageous from a man who wants to marry her. Now, we'll talk about what happens later with their relationship, but anyway, let's talk about just the wedding. We'll stick to the wedding. I feel like he gave us no sign that that's not what he wanted. And like I said, editing can do a lot. With Netflix, they might have talked about it, but she said she was planning on saying yes today. Do they not talk about these things before? And I'm trying to stick to just the wedding, but at the reunion, I think he said he didn't know up until the moment of. A lot of them say that. How do you not know a serious life decision until the morning of, the day of? You just wake up and I'm going to decide on this 20 seconds she's walking down the aisle? What? I just don't appreciate the blindsidedness, and I feel like, this is the thing. I also felt played because SK knew going on this show, he was going to school. And he knew the timeline of if he was happen to fall in love with someone and propose, what the timeline would be. I know, like I said, Raven gets a lot of hate for, oh, she's selfish. She didn't want to move with him. She didn't want to do this. I think SK's selfish. Yep, I sure do, because you knew what this show was like. You knew that they purposely cast people in the same area so that they don't have to scramble their lives together. Like, that's the whole point of the show. And for you to go on the show knowing you're about to move away from that area and expect the person that you just met to uproot their life to go be with you, that's not fair. And I'm tired of Raven getting hate for that. He knew what he was getting himself into. And I said in the last video, I wonder how much they talked about that in the pods. Maybe that it was already agreed upon that she wasn't going to move and they were just going to commute, long distance until he was out of school. So I just really get tired of people saying, Raven should have moved. She should have been willing to compromise. For what? He knew what he was doing going on that show. He knew what the setup was. So no, I don't think she was wrong. And I'm not going to talk about the second part of their relationship because we haven't gotten there yet, but I will just say I was extremely shocked that he said, I do not. And I'll leave it at that because we'll talk more about them at the reunion. Okay, next wedding we saw was Nancy and Bartise. Y'all already knew I didn't want them to work out, honestly. I'm sad that Nancy said yes, and Bartise was able to have that power to be like, I do not. Ultimately, I do think for both of them, not that I care about Bartise like that, but ultimately for both of them, it's better that they're not together, because I don't see, maybe they are compatible in some ways, but it's just, I feel like that relationship would be delaying the inevitable of them essentially breaking up. Okay, but let's talk about the actual wedding. I'm trying to remember, sorry y'all, I should have took notes during these parts, but I didn't. But Nancy gave her vows. I want to say Bartise gave some bull crap vows. But we don't really care about that. What we care about is how Nancy's family was ready to square up. I don't know. It was really kind of funny, not funny at the same time. Like, they kind of dragged that whole thing out. Like, the little brother, like, I didn't want to be right. I didn't want to be right. That's my only sister. That's my only daughter. Like, okay, yeah. Yeah, we know who that is. Your only kid, your only sister, or whatever. Like, you didn't want to be right. Got it. Like, and that's another reason why I say, like, do they not prep their families that it can go either way? Like, maybe she did tell her family, hey, I think he's gonna say yes today, but do they not know, like, this is TV, like, you know, everything, just take it with a grain of salt? Or maybe this is exactly why they wanted their family on there, because they knew they was gonna do the theatrics, you know, Maury show type of chase around with the camera, if you know what I'm talking about. And then so when Bartise was like, when they walked away and Nancy's mom followed them, he was like, can I just get a moment with my fiance? Dude, she stopped being your fiance like a good 5 minutes ago when you said I do not. Like, now she's just a girl. I don't know. Bartise gets on my nerves, honestly. Like, I can't. Good for you, Nancy. And then she was like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with you, you know, after this. After you say I don't to someone at the altar, like, what else is there really to give, you know? So, I mean, at least in my opinion, for their situation, I guess, you know. But I don't mean to fly by these two, SK Raven and Nancy and Bartise, but I feel like there's just more to say about it at the reunion for both of these people. So whatever. Okay, so yeah, Nancy's family was tripping. Bartise is funny for thinking that he was still about to have a relationship with her, but yeah. That's those on those two. So they, you know, Netflix had to give us some hope after both of those heartbreaks, and then we get, you know, Alexa and Brennan, which, you know, congratulations to them. I am glad that somebody out of this experiment got some true love. I want to say both their vows were beautiful. Can't remember, honestly. Sorry, they weren't that memorable, but they seem very happy. Like, they seem happy. And actually at the reunion, I did appreciate their relationship a little bit more, but we'll get into that. So I think that's all the notes I had on Alexa and Brennan. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, I don't have anything else for them other than, I guess, congratulations. So let's get to the good stuff. We know what we really want to talk about when it comes to the weddings. The last two. Cole and Zanab. Okay. Right. Love the moment with her and her stepmom in the beginning of the scene. I guess this is when I started taking notes and started to go into detail, but whatever. Love that moment. I can tell her parents not being there were a really big thing for her, which I can, you know, only imagine that she would want her parents on her wedding day, but I guess it wasn't that big of a deal because it ended up not really being her wedding day. Anyway, okay, let's get into it. I loved Cole's friends praying with him, especially since his parents couldn't be there. Having that support from your friends must have felt amazing. Like, I loved seeing them pray together before the wedding. Okay. Her monologue was tough. Like, she did not have to do him like that. I watched with subtitles, so you disrespected me. That's like, I saw it before she said it, and I was like, oh, she about to go in. You disrespected me. You insulted me. You single-handedly shattered or crushed my self-esteem. Whoa. Like, did she really have to do that right there? Like, and okay, notice how she told him also, we both know that I'm not the type of girl you want. Notice how when she was letting him down, it wasn't, I'm not that. She could have just stopped there. I'm not the type of girl you want. Even though I don't feel like it's fair to tell him the type of girl he wants. She could have just been like, you're not the man for me. I don't. And walk away. And maybe they had that conversation somewhere else. Can we get a character like analysis on how she decided to dig in at him on the altar in front of his friends, in front of her friends, and tell him how terrible he is? I saw a comment on another video that was like, she wanted her deep tea moment but did not earn it. That part. Her saying, you know, I'm not the woman who's gonna love you. You shouldn't speak for someone else. Like, if you don't want him, you say that. But don't tell him what he wants, because that's manipulative and not fair. Once she finished her monologue, the clapping, that I had to pause it right there. And I was like, wow. Wow. The clapping. I'll talk more about that in a second. And when she's walking off, she says, I didn't want to get ugly, but he needed to be told some things. Anytime someone says, but, they know what they did was wrong. And they're going to say it anyway. Side note, that's why I start saying, however. Anyway, that's why I start saying however, because but sounds like, but I'm going to do it anyway. And however sounds like, however, moving along, I'm going to still say what I want to say. That's a trick. Anyway, I felt so bad for Cole in that moment. I did. Like, and I was like, okay, dang. Like, I know he messed up in the beginning. And I actually went back to watch episode 5, Meet Your Exes, or the pool part, or whatever, you know, when they were still in Malibu. And was he wrong and insensitive AF? I'm trying not to curse. Yes. Yes, he was. Yes, he was very insensitive. Was Cole wrong for what he did in the beginning? Yes, he was wrong. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I do think that during the time of the experiment, he grew to attach the physical and the mental or emotional, and he loved her and he wanted to make it work with her because he did fall in love with her in the pods. But the way she handled him at the end of it was like, it was just not right. They could have easily had that conversation off to the side. At the end, she was like, she said, was it super ghetto of my friends to clap? No, girl, it wasn't ghetto. It was disrespectful, distasteful, and rude. Like, I know those are all synonyms of each other, but like, it just sounds better to just, you know, boom, disrespectful, distasteful, rude, like, you know, lay it on there. But it was just all of those things. Like, you can be ghetto and respectful, but no, that was just disrespectful. Like, how do you think that made him feel in the moment? And I get trying to support your friend or whatever they were trying to do, but that was uncalled for and probably traumatized him. I think that's all I have right now for them, but we will definitely talk about them later because Tangerine scene. That's all I'm going to say. Tangerine scene. Anyway. Colleen and Matt. So I know like Netflix was trying to end, you know, the show on a high note, but having them two at the end was not a high note. Like, it just even saying Colleen and Matt is just like, Colleen and Matt. Like, I did take a little bit more notes on their stuff. So Matt in the beginning was like, it's not an automatic yes from either of us. I don't really know until I see her walking down the aisle. Like I said, a lot of people say this, but I just don't see how a life-altering decision can be made in 20 seconds of seeing the girl walk down the aisle. Like, you didn't think about this last night. Like, obviously, they're always thinking about it, but how can 20 seconds change your whole decision? It's like you're just going to say F it and just go for it. Like, no. Even Matt says he doesn't know if he's ready, which, I mean, no one's going to know except for you. But his friends really didn't seem like he was ready either. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with dating before you get married. But we all know Matt's a little So yeah. So now switching over to Colleen. One thing that I noticed between both of them when they were talking to their friends, their family, even after the wedding, it's like they're both just trying to convince each other and themselves that they love that person. They would talk and be like, I'm your husband. I'm your husband. I'm your wife. I'm your wife. Like, I'm married. We're married. Like, and it was a very different vibe than the, wow, we just did this vibe that Alexa and Brennan had. Alexa and Brennan were like, whoa, this just happened. It's me and you or forever. Colleen and Matt were very like trying to convince themselves. It's like both of them were trying to convince each other that they are in love with each other and they want to be with each other. Switching though to Colleen, when she was with her friends and family before the wedding, she was like, well, he isn't my type. He's not a frat daddy. But okay, like, why are you... So she's not really physically attracted to him. Why are you trying to convince yourself that you like him? Yeah, they end up saying, I do. I don't know. I mean, I didn't want them to be together, but I guess I'm not going to talk crap about a married couple either. But okay, you know what? Whatever. Let's get to the reunion because that's where the real good stuff is. The way I'm going to set up the reunion is kind of just how they talked about it all. I'm going to talk about it in that order, kind of. They kind of start the reunion, talking about Alexa and Brennan and the closet scene. And I know good and well Alexa did not say she returned stuff such that she don't have to wear the same outfit twice. Like, technically she didn't say that, but I don't know if that was supposed to be implied. I don't know if it was supposed to be implied, but bougie on a budget. I get it. I mean, at some point, I don't know. I don't really have a comment for that other than, like, I guess, do you? The next thing that they talk about was the pool party scene, Matt, Colleen, and Cole. And they kind of went to Cole, but Netflix is messy. They messy because as soon as they said Cole, like, they started addressing it. They showed Colleen and she looked so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I mean, as we would expect she would, but Matt probably said, you better not even look Cole's way. Which actually probably didn't have to tell her. She already knew not to look his way. Speaking of like how people look in body language and demeanor, Cole looked rough. He was very much giving Shane. Very much giving Shane. And in fact, their whole wedding, Cole and Zanab, obviously Natalie didn't do what Zanab did, but their wedding and just their relationship too reminded me a lot of Shane and Natalie. Cole, he looked rough, and I think Shane looked rough in the after the altar type of thing too. Like, he just looked like he had been on a sabbatical or something, just trying to figure out life. And that's how Cole looked, distraught, soul searching, trying to figure out who he was. That's what he looked like. And it was weird to me, like, after they played that scene over, I don't know why Colleen felt like she needed to be the first to speak. Like, was she in it? Yes. But I really feel like Cole should have been the first to speak on it. It's almost like she had to clear her name. I respect my relationship. I respect your relationship. And I respect Zanab and blah, 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 blah. Like, I just feel like she, once again, is just reiterating, I don't want Cole. I'm in love with my man, but I need y'all to know that I'm in love with my man. Like, it doesn't happen naturally, so I need to let y'all know I'm in love with my man. That's the vibe that I got from her. And I don't know why Nancy felt the need to chime in either. Like, that really wasn't any of her. I mean, it's a reunion. People are here to say what they want and say what they feel. But, like, Nancy, I don't want to say shut up, because it's not like I don't like her. I'm just like, you got enough drama you need to worry about with you and your man, or was supposed to be your man, or not your man, whatever. Like, no, just mind your business. And Brennan too, we had a comment on it. And I'm like, I know, like, y'all are all going through this together, but like, no, like, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't, I'm not gonna say their place because they are the cast of this show, but like, what y'all saying really don't matter, especially when we saw the end of that reunion. Like, y'all really need to lighten up off of Cole because it's not your business. And y'all don't know what happened when the cameras weren't rolling. It's a he say, she say situation. Okay. And I actually went back to watch episode 5 because he said that he apologized to her the same night, and she said she didn't get an apology until 2 weeks later. And I really thought he did apologize to her that night, but I didn't see that. Now, if it was something off camera that we didn't see, maybe, but I will say, at least in that initial conversation that they had about the pool party, he did not apologize to her in that episode, the Meet Your Exes, when they were talking at the end of it. I think he did apologize eventually. Maybe it was 2 weeks later. Who knows? Anyway, I don't care. All of this is void and null after seeing what she did. And when they kept saying, like, what you did, I was like, what did Cole do? What the tangerine, the eating stuff? What? I'm confused. So we'll get to that. We'll get SK Raven. That's the next thing. Oh, I got an opinion. Yeah, I do. I really like Raven. I really, really like Raven. And I thought I really liked SK too, but damn, he got over on me. He got over on me, and I'm not happy about it, honestly. Okay, so this is my take. I'm happy if she's happy. But I honestly feel like SK, the way he said I don't and blindsided her, was very distasteful, but also they're still together. They're saying their relationship is stronger than ever, but why continue to why continue to date if y'all wasn't gonna get married? Like, and she said, you know, it's stronger than ever. How? Like, he's got her hooked now. This is the perfect scenario for him. Perfect scenario for him. He doesn't have to be financially responsible for her, which it seemed like that was kind of a big thing, but he still gets all the benefits, literally all the benefits, because when they asked her, you know, when did y'all get intimate, essentially, after the wedding? Damn, girl, like, you make him wait. At first, I thought they had did something when they moved in together. And I was like, okay, I mean, you know, people do what they do when they're together. But for her to say he didn't get none until after the wedding, and he said no to you, he's literally getting, this is the perfect situation for him. What did you get out of this? You're long distance. You're going to be like that anyway if you were married. Now, because he's not your husband, he doesn't necessarily have to be financially responsible for you. And he's still getting some good stuff. What was the point? And he gets all that, and he doesn't have to marry you. Perfect for him. And here's a question. Do y'all think SK really can get over the Nigerian factor? Like, he claims he, you know, he likes how complex. Well, first he said he does like how complex Raven is. Then he said he didn't like how complex the relationship was. Do y'all think he can really get over not having him a Nigerian woman? Like, do you think that is a deal breaker for him? Like, a deal breaker that he doesn't know is a deal breaker. I think his mom accepted Raven really well with opening arms. Like, I really love that. But at the end of the day, do y'all think that he's going to be so used to some of the customs that it's going to be like, oh, shoot, what did I get myself into? She is not the type, literally the type of girl, a Nigerian Yoruba, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, woman, and she ain't falling in line how I need her to. Like, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from him, but now after being blindsided by him, I really don't know what to expect. So anyway, I'm a little irritated with that. I mean, I hope that they still end up getting married out of this, but it is frustrating because it's like, if you was going to be together, you should have got married. I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but now do you think, like, I'm thinking of his mom. Is his mom gonna be like, okay, you actually gonna marry this girl? Is she a placeholder? Now you done got some, so he doesn't have to fight as hard. And she's sprung, kind of, because he sees her for who she is, and blah, 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 blah. Like, okay. So I feel like it was very much a cop-out on his half, and she likes him so much now that she's not gonna see it. And I just hope that's not the case, because it's like, if not now, then when? Especially if y'all are together. So when are you going to marry her, since you didn't marry her initially? And we see the only other couple I think that dated publicly after the show that didn't get married with season 1, Giannina and, oh my gosh, what's that boy's name? Y'all know who I'm Daniel? No, it ain't Daniel. Did they last? No. And at the first season, at that reunion, she was like, wow, this could have been our 1 year. He is not gonna, I don't know. I'm not gonna say what someone's not gonna do, but I support it, I guess. I'm not happy about it though. Okay, anyway, moving along, they started talking about Bartise and Nancy. Okay, y'all know when they asked Bartise, like, do you regret picking Nancy or something like that in the pods? He took way too long to answer. He took way too long to answer. And I was like, he took so long that I was even thinking in my head, I was like, dude, even if you feel this way, please don't say it. Like, I know, I get it. Brutal honesty, being honest, blah, blah, blah. But don't say it. Don't say it again that Raven is a smoke show. And like, just say, no, I don't regret it. Like, just keep that between you. But he took way too long to answer, so we know what the real answer was to that. And Nancy was saying, like, I guess the brutal honesty was good. But he still could have found a better way to communicate it. Like I told y'all earlier, I watched episode 5 again. So the last part of episode 5 was the conversation between Colleen and Zanab and the conversation between Bartise and Nancy. He said it a lot. When I watched it back, he said it a lot that Raven was like hot. She was this, she was that. And I'm like, dang, that stings. Seeing how their relationship progressed, and then watching that back again, like, if I was Nancy, I would not be able to look at Raven for real. Because I know they did have a moment where they kind of amended things and said they love each other, respect each other, whatever. But, like, to know that the man you love liked her so much more solely off the way that she looked, you know, that hurts. That hurts. Let's just finish talking about Bartise and Nancy for the entire reunion. Another thing that comes back up is that Bartise, 3 days after the wedding, they said 4th of July weekend, he's like out on a boat with this tall blonde girl, and you know, they're like, how could you do that to her, blah 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 blah. Not Bartise saying, I don't feel like talking about my sex life to all of you. I agree with the cast. Who said anything about sex? Like, you're telling on yourself and trying to flip the script. Like, dude, it was bad timing. What are you even coping about? Like, I mean, you're like, for what? You the one who said no. Like, you didn't like her, and you've been not liking her. So you're like, shoot, I can finally do what I want to do and get me a tall blonde girl. I just feel really bad for Nancy, you know, in that aspect, because hopefully he doesn't hit her up on some late night trying to get back, and she lets him back in with open arms, because she never really healed. She didn't give me that vibe, but he seems like the type of guy that would try to keep the door open if she allows, for sure. So we're gonna let Bartise have his 15 minutes of fame. I don't know what that man bun was about. I mean, like, it's not my place to judge, but I think he would look a lot better if he cut his hair or didn't do that style. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, obviously, who am I to tell someone what to do with their hair when you can't see mine? But it's giving not it. It's just not. With Bartise being like 25, I think that did play a big role in it. He thought he was ready for marriage, but a part of me kind of feels like maybe he just wanted to go on a show and said what happens, happens. I don't honestly think he was actually ready to be married. Maybe he wanted a committed relationship, but I don't actually think he was ready to be married. And I think what happened after the wedding showed that. Okay, so Matt and Colleen, can we talk about, I think this is the last time I bring it up. Girl looks so uncomfortable. Like, even the way Matt was sitting, it was like he kind of and I could be totally wrong, it may have just been coincidental. He even positioned himself to where, like, you don't need to look at Matt, or you don't need to look at Cole or any of those guys over there for that matter. Like, if you look at how Alexa and Brennan were sitting, it seemed very relaxed and just there. Colleen and Matt, it just seemed like he was just like, he had to be the big man, and I got my arm around my girl because, you know, like, she just looked, everything looked so coerced forced, like, and like I said, I mean, I can't be the only one because I have watched some other videos and read some comments where people are getting this vibe from Matt too. But like, Matt still just strikes me as the type of guy who's like, you're at dinner with, when I say you're, I mean Colleen. Him and Colleen are at dinner with his friends, her friends, whoever. And like, she makes a joke or laughs too hard or says something, and he's like pinching her thigh under the table on some stuff. Like, that's just the type of guy he strikes me as. I don't know. I don't get good vibes on him at all. And I just really hope I'm wrong for Colleen's sake, but she picked him. You know, she could have said, I don't. I mean, at that point, they weren't that deep in yet. And the only way I could see them staying together, unless I just am totally wrong about all of this, is that if he kind of scares her into staying in it. Like, I don't know if they'll get divorced. Not because she doesn't want to, but because he's crazy. So that's that on them. Not them showing, taking a shot at Andrew. What was it? Nick? Yeah, Nick and... Goodness, why can't I think of anybody's name? Lachey, the Lacheys putting the eye drops in. They said they invited Andrew to the reunion. Why? He had a moment on the episode, but he wasn't like a cast member. You know, he didn't, I don't know why they wouldn't have invited him. I don't think anybody up there really wanted him to be there. So that was just kind of weird that they said that they invited him, because why? So he can get another 15 minutes? No, bro, no. Like, I know I said in the other video that I thought him and Nancy should be together, but after kind of thinking about it and watching some other stuff, I was like, oh, that was fake. Yeah, no, not cool. Next thing that came up was Cole and Zanab. And they said that at the bachelorette party, Cole asked for another girl's number. And when I say they, I mean Zanab, because she didn't say anybody else could vouch for her. Literally, he say, she say. Cole asked for another girl's number at the bachelorette party. He almost kissed another girl. And this is all things that he apparently told Zanab to her face. No receipts. And she says a lot of stuff is not seen, and oh, they painted you to be a good guy, or it worked in your favor how they edited and how they filmed and blah, 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 blah. And she also made the comment that he didn't reach out to her after the wedding. Well, with the way that you did what you did, was he supposed to? Think about if it was the other way around. Like, if Cole would have went off on her at the altar, was she supposed to reach out to him after? Like, just because he's the man doesn't mean that he's supposed to chase you again after you just made a fool out of him. Like, what was he supposed to do? And why is everybody so in agreement that you didn't even hit her up after the wedding? Was he supposed to? People were chiming in, Nancy, Raven, you know, even though I like Raven, but she was like, yeah, and the Tangerine thing, all the things you've done to her. And even Alexa was like, you know, it's just after the stuff that I know. And I'm like, what do they know that we don't know? What are they keeping from us? Cole just started to break down crying. Like, first of all, he said she was lying, which the way that they were going so hard, I was like, dang, Cole, maybe you are a liar. But like, to have no recollection at all of what someone is saying, like, is he, like, someone's lying here, and it's easy to make Zanab look like she's not lying because of how rude and disrespectful Cole was in the beginning. Like, because he messed up in the beginning, it was like, it was easy to judge his character that he would do some stuff like that. When actually, I really don't think that he would, based on how he treated her after Malibu. It seemed like she had a vendetta after him, after the show. Like, she made sure that everyone was Team Zanab, and even if you're not Team Zanab, you need to be against Cole because he's a bad guy. And I'm gonna play like, oh, Cole, no, I still think you're a good guy. I still think you're a good guy. Well, why did you do him like that? You're crazy. Girl, you are crazy. And he was probably spot on asking you if you were bipolar. Zanab said, I hadn't eaten anything all day, a spoonful of peanut butter and a banana, and I had 2 tangerines in my hand, and you said that was a serving, and I said that was a serving. You said, are you going to eat both of those? Maybe you should save your appetite. And she was like, yeah, it just works out in your favor that they didn't show that part. That was that. Cole's a bad guy. Everybody's on Team Zanab. And Cole even says, show it if you have it, right? Oh, they showed it all right. We're going to wait, though. So they backed up to Alexa and Brennan. And nothing really fancy here. There was a scene that she said they wish they would have shown. Basically, she's a very sarcastic person. I mean, when you're sarcastic, you can kind of pick up on another sarcastic person. So just because she wasn't my favorite didn't mean I didn't like her. I'm very sarcastic. So as a sarcastic person, I wish they would have shown the scene of Alexa asking Brennan, hey, are you okay with how sarcastic I am? Like, does it bother you? Like, does it make you think of me any differently? Because as someone who's sarcastic, you kind of sometimes wonder that, like, am I doing too much? Am I too dry with my humor sometimes? I think that would have been a nice touch that would have made me like Alexa more. Not that I didn't like her, but it just would have made me like her more, that she is aware that sometimes her personality is not for everybody. And I get that. I really do. I'm happy for them because I like them. I do. Then so at the end, they kind of open the table up and they say, does anybody want to say anything? Well, of course, Matt and Colleen once again have to declare that they are in love with each other and that they're proud of each other because they have to prove to everyone there at home that they are actually in love and it's not a captive relationship. And that's how I feel about that. I don't get this professing of love. Like, it's not even like they are I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I'm trying to say with this, but if you get what I'm saying, you get it. It's off. It's off. I don't know how to put it into words, but something about them is off. Just saying. Let's get to what we all came here for. The tangerine scene. The tangerine scene. If you didn't know any better, you would almost at the end of this believe that she was telling the truth and Cole was just that bad of a monster. You would almost think that. I was not expecting that. That was a good one. Netflix did good because remember last after the altar type of thing, how they just gave us a black screen and said both the couples were divorcing. We needed this closure. This was good, Netflix. Applause to you. The tangerine scene. I keep saying that. Okay, the whole scene, I see why it was cut because it wasn't eventful, but it said everything that it needed to say to back up Cole and what he was talking about. Whole time, okay, for, anybody who missed it or whatever, whole time they're sitting here talking. Cole is trying to figure out, wait, you said your family's in England or they're in Pakistan? Like, where should we go? Like, we can have it here. We can have it there. Like, we can have a world tour wedding or whatever they said. She seems so disengaged. So, like, whatever. Like, he's trying to plan a world tour wedding. I don't even care. Like, because she knows she's not going to marry him. Or she's going to tell him off or whatever. Eating cherries. I'm assuming it was cherries they were eating. Eating cherries with her. And she's like, he was like, oh, you're going to eat those tangerines? You're going to eat both of those? Oh, you might want to save some appetite for dinner because it's going to be like a huge meal. She's like, yeah, well, it's a serving. I haven't eaten anything all day. Just a banana and some peanut butter. Why? I offered you this is Cole. Why? I offered you a poke bowl or whatever, poke bowl. Yeah, but we just had that. Oh, so he trying to starve you? Oh, so you're changing your eating habits? If you wanted to say you were trying to slim down for your wedding dress, why didn't you just say that? If we never saw that, the internet would, I'm sure the internet is still divided, but the internet would have been divided on your team Zanab or your team Cole because we don't know. We weren't there. It was so much he say, she say with no receipts, which kind of reminds me of Natalie with the text messages with Shane that nobody else saw or something like that. I don't mean to compare all the seasons, but it's just kind of similar stuff that be happening. If we didn't see the tangerine scene, we would think maybe Zanab is telling the truth. And maybe Cole is just as deceitful as Alexa makes him out to be. Well, what do you think, people? She really made a mission to make him as a bad guy. And I'm like, he did not deserve that. Did he mess up? Yes, we know that. But she gaslit him. She gaslit him and also made other people believe that he was as bad as she wants him to be. If that is her reality, that he's not letting her eat, or he's trying to change her eating habits, she needs some help. My mouth was on the floor for that one too. Both times my mouth dropped was when Zanab was acting crazy. Yeah, I'm glad they had it, and I'm glad they played it, because it blew me. It blew me. It was good. It was great TV though. It was great TV. But anyway, y'all, I think that's everything. I think I kind of touched on all the weddings, how I felt about them, the reunion, all the little things that they touched on. What would I want to see from another season? Or I'm sure they're going to do it after the altar. After the altar, I would love to see, I hate to say this because they're married and I hate talking crap on married couples, but I would hope that Colleen don't get her own place, because she said remember they said they weren't living together yet. Hopefully they decide that it's better that way. I don't know. Alexa and Brennan, love to see it. Hopefully they do well too. But yeah, that's everything. Love is Blind season 4. I think they did say there's going to be another season. I need something better. I don't know what it is, but I feel like season 1, we actually really got to be a part of the couples. We really got to see their journey. Now it's kind of just so sped up. And I look back and it's the same number of episodes each season, 12, I think. But it's some of the things I feel like they didn't show as much on. And I know it's TV, it's drama, but now going into more seasons, it's the integrity of the show is just I get it. It's reality TV, but we do want to see people in love. Who doesn't love love? So to see people who are just coming on here just to get on TV for 15 minutes is it's disheartening, and it's hard to weed those people out. I know, but I would hope that the people that come on, I don't know. I don't know how you can do a better job of weeding those people out, but I'm tired of having Shakes and Andrews and even possibly Bartises, because he's kind of suspect. I'm just tired of people coming on here just to get a kick. I want to see some love. Yeah, that sounds weird, but y'all get what I'm saying? So anyway, that's the end of my review. Go ahead and leave a comment. I think my biggest slap in the face moment was Zanab's monologue at the wedding, because that was just very disrespectful, and I'm sure Cole was very confused. Okay, I'm backing up. But anyway, so leave a comment. What was your crazy slap in the face moment, jaw drop moments? Or mine was actually when SK and Raven said they were still together. That was kind of okay. In my next video, I'll probably I kind of want to review Dubai Bling. If you guys have watched that on Netflix, I watched a few episodes. Kind of came out when Love is Blind was coming out, so I've kind of been putting it on the back burner. Honestly, it's not that good of a show. It's really kind of just trashy TV, but I really like seeing Dubai because I like Dubai. So if y'all want me to review that, I will. I think I also may do luxury gift on a budget, under $100 type of video. I bought this perfume sampler set. If y'all are interested in seeing that, it is the I'm a mess up the name, whatever the maker of the Baccarat 540, that I bought a set from them. So if you want to see that, or you want to see Dubai Bling, or just any other type of video that falls into kind of stuff I like to make, then drop a comment on that too. But thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around to the end. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.